Right. But it could be worse. Yeah.
Will they ever get back to their routine now?
No, we're not. I can't wait to see it. I don't know. I should have known.
We started on August.
Okay.
color y todo. Recuerden que si quiero verla.
Never too late to learn. Yeah.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Hey, hey, good evening, everyone. So we're going to start taking our seats. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. If you can grab a seat, grab a snack, and grab a seat. We're going to start in just a few moments. Hello, everyone. Hello. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to see all of you here. For those of you who are new to Mutual Mentorship for Musicians, or M3, it was co-founded by Shyu and Serpa in March of 2020. If you could please stand up. M3 has become a powerful platform entering into its 4th year of empowering, elevating, normalizing, and giving visibility to non-binary musicians and those, to women and non-binary musicians and those of other historically underrepresented gender identities in intersection with race, sexuality, or ability across generations in the US and worldwide through a radical model of mentorship and musical collaborative commissions, which you will witness tonight. I'm so excited. They are also changing the narrative by publishing an anthology of writing for each cohort with contributions by all the M3 musicians. You can read the first 4 volumes online, and here are the first 2 volumes, which are available for sale tonight in the front, with all proceeds going to M3's future cohorts. Yes, indeed. So I first learned about M3 in early 2022 when Jen and Sara reached out to me about moderating a gender justice panel for a popular jazz festival in New York at the recommendation of Naomi Extra. Yes, give it up, give it up, give it up. Who was M3's anthology development editor for volumes 2 and 3, actually. And she's someone I deeply admire. Unfortunately, I had lost my sister, who was a seriously devoted patron of the arts and a huge supporter of women in the capacity of musicians, dancers, artists. We lost her to cancer only a few weeks prior, and I was really in the throes of that loss, but I knew that this was an organization I definitely wanted to work with in the future, so I'm just so happy that the opportunity presented itself, and here we are. And I know my sister would have loved my being a part of this celebration, so I'm so thrilled to be here. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Angelica Beener, and I am a journalist, DJ, producer, and podcast host. And my work focuses on music at the intersections similar to M3, gender, race, activism, and it's also deeply rooted in my journey through motherhood, raising a cultured Black child. So, yes, indeed. As a Black woman, I find my work to be inextricably tied to my race and gender, and I focus on it without apology. And that hasn't always been easy. I began working in this industry 25 years ago, which is crazy. But the racism, sexism, sometimes even ageism that I experienced often left me dispirited. And what kept me going and fortified were women like Naomi Extra and Kyla Marshall, who I see here. Yes, indeed. Women like my late Aunt Jackie, a queer Black woman who gave me my first piano lessons and never stopped being a huge support. Women like my grandmother, Geraldine Smith, who encouraged me the most. Women like Jerry Allen, the living legend in her own right, Bertha Hope, and many, many others. I had women who could help sustain me and edify me in ways for which I remain grateful. And the spirit the spirit of what these women mean to me is what is so palpable about M3, Mutual Mentorship for Musicians. Simply put, M3 is vital to our community and culture. The ways in which M3 artists connect, create, build, and flourish is proof positive that when there are spaces created and led with intentionality, ingenuity, and imagination, free of societal impediments, and instead fostered by a premise of respect and freedom, the ultimate result is the best of what the world has to offer. So I am so grateful that Mutual Mentorship for Musicians exists and for the incredible work that they do to shift and shake up the culture. So, before we start to watch these amazing films, I want to remind you that there's popcorn and drinks and snacks in the back if you want to grab something and get comfortable. And now I'm honored to introduce the world premieres of the works by our Fall Equinox 2022 Cohort 5. We'll begin by presenting Wobbly Tales from Rosangela Isabel Perez Molero and Jessica Jones. Rosangela is a violinist, composer, improviser, performer, sound artist, and educator from Venezuela, now based in Argentina. Jessica is a tenor saxophonist, pianist, educator, and artistic director for Riva Inc., a nonprofit that promotes creative arts as well as global jazz women. And now, let's enjoy Wobbly Tales.
Breath, breath, rumble lullaby. You are a survivor.
La mirada se sostiene incluso, cuando aparece. Yo soy el fantasma, aparezco. Yo soy el fantasma, aparezco. abrazo. Sangrado. Y sonriente. El tiempo. Es una flor que abraza, el fantasma, el tiempo. Conversar el tiempo es una flor, una que abraza. La muerte, la muerte, la muerte, la muerte. Esa mirada, la mirada, tu mirada, tu mirada, tu mirada, tu mirada. Que sostienes a pesar del hueco en tus brazos, en tus brazos, en tus brazos.
Breath. 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 Breath.
Yo soy
The door opens up when I kiss me. Because the guy, politics and responsibility, co-op city, radio city, little Italy, a sheep that's biting diagonally, the frogs making clean circle, politics in Times Square, just once with coffee, responsibility cat. It's a rat, and the dude's getting on this freaking guy here. Going back, it's like all of a sudden, Lexington Ave is here, although it changes into Irving downtown. It happens right by here, the park you need to have a key. God forbid we should move, would it kill you? You would let the folks in here get out. To just, not for nothing, but the rent control department is to die for. Just schmoozing, sitting on the front seat. Breath.
soñar sueño.
Kitchen table.
No reconozco.
Forsythia.
No quiero, no.
Safe?
Yo soy el fantasma, aparezco.
Thank you so much, Rosangela and Jessica. So I'm curious about what were your first meetings like over Zoom and how did that piece come about?
I think we first met, like we did at this really, really long meeting so we can start know each other.
I think some of the things that came up were like, what's your favorite kind of music? Send me a link. And we started listening to each other's favorite music, and, you know, talked about our instruments. We talked about, I really liked that Rosangela was specifically, I need to know who you are as a person before we do music. I really appreciated that approach.
These two seeds, like a really conceptual seed about what themes we are going through right now in our lives. It was so important to know the Jessica life, because I need to know, like, okay, so what's happening and how we can use music to talk about this and to reflect about this. And on the other hand, we both want to experiment with different kind of approach to composition.
Yeah. And I think we came up with plans about different experiments to try, and we're pretty specific about these different approaches that we wanted to try, and, you know, just experimented in different realms, and then over time weave them together.
Yeah, and one of the topics was about tenderness and exploring what is tenderness about, how is tenderness expressing through music, and which are the different forms that can shape tenderness, the feeling of tenderness. And on the other hand, we also work about the sensation of home.
Yeah, just the home, both how it feels and then how that's affected you in the world, kind of like what you carry from home when you go into the world. And so we had those themes, and then we had like the experimental ways of expressing these themes, and we spent time listening to each other's techniques on our instruments to see if there were special forms from that particular person that we want to use in our writing too, in our composing.
I think we are alike in our ways of organizing the work. We always were aware of the timing and how we can like organize our time, but at the same time being really creative.
Right. I felt that too. Like we have a very similar sense of being very open, but very organized. So being organized with your creativity. And I thought it was easy too. Rapport wise, it was very easy. And Rosangela has a lot of like get up and go and you know, wanting to bring it in.
Well, that is so inspiring and sounds like such a fruitful collaboration that brought about this really engaging composition. Thank you, Rosangela and Jessica. Next, we have Mirrored Hands by Naomi Nakanishi and Aline Frazao. Naomi is a pianist, improviser, and composer currently based in Brooklyn, New York. Aline is an Angolan singer, songwriter, producer, and performer currently based in Berlin. So here we present to you Mirrored Hands.
Passes the freshwater creek near her hometown village. She gazes amongst the dense rich wildlife, yet she still feels as though winter will be approaching soon. She is desperate.
Wonderful, delightful. Maravilhoso, maravilhoso.
Her home. Wonderful. Delightful. Her dainty orange tabby purrs, reminding her of vibrations underneath railroad tracks. Her feet sinking into the raw dirt. So wonderful. Delightful. Her dimly lit bedroom waves of spring flowers, particularly her rosebuds ripened in full bloom. Her cotton sheets tenderly caress her feathered body, while her sun-kissed hair lofts against the pillow, tossing. She quickens her pace amongst unfamiliar faces, yet she still feels the sweat trickling down her ice-cold back. She winces at the lake wind effect, salted tears glistening. She rests, feeling the barren ground. It's winter again.
São dois espelhos paralelos, enviesados, um jogo de luzes que se aumenta em brilho exponencialmente, por vezes apenas, para noutras vezes se anular num escuro tremendo. As horas do dia passam ferozes, ela respira e se agita no ecrã. Tenta de novo, procura um sentido, uma harmonia, uma simetria, uma melodia. E as horas do dia passam ferozes. Ela respira, a terra gira. E ela não vê. Ela respira, a terra gira. Tenta de novo, procura um sentido, uma harmonia, uma simetria, uma melodia. E as horas do dia passam ferozes. Ela respira. A terra gira e o mar continua lá. Mar sempre calado, dorme sono pesado sobre a carne, para sempre lá de planeta absurdo que vai
Lately, I feel a better way where we can come up with a more concise solution on putting together this commission piece. I just really feel like there hasn't been much room for flexibility, really, and I feel like the communication has been very difficult and a little frustrating, and I am actually a little frustrated. I feel like there also hasn't been room for much flexibility. There needs to be more and openness.
E eu sei que a sociedade americana é obcecada com resultados e com sucesso, com a
really high expectations would be really good for not just for myself, but just with the collaboration and thinking maybe I'm just seeing it in a different light or keeping that in mind. I wonder if there's a way we can come to an agreement or a compromise for this piece. I just feel like I'm being really vulnerable and it's not being reciprocated in the way that I want to for. And there's just too much. I feel like for this section, maybe the separate tracks that guitar can change the feel. I don't know, personally, it could just go into a different groove. It's just not gelling. I see. So you don't want that. Maybe we can try and figure out different ways I feel like right now it doesn't really sound as cohesive as I thought it was going to be. I feel like that's where I don't have to feel like should I rushing the process or feel like I'm wondering if there's something that is missing from this. I just feel like it hasn't really been going anywhere. Like, how are you feeling about the project? I'm not really sure what to do at this point because I definitely just want to express my feeling a little lost and it feels a bit open right now. Honestly, and I would like to find a way how to come up with more compromises.
Eu sei que não está a ser fácil.
Feel as though our voices are coming together,
essas coisas de comunicação.
But you think that I think that it's okay if, make sure we're not exactly gelling in the way that I hope. I really agree with what you just said, and maybe there is beauty in the imperfection after all.
Thank you so much, Naomi and Aline. Can you share some of the origins of this fascinating work with us?
Origins started with just sending each other little audio messages and some, writing prompts on, things that we've already thought of or composed. And I think part of that was just to get a better sense of who we were individually as musicians and artists. And I thought that was a great way to just, introduce our musicianship to each other. So we just, we had a little Google Drive folder, and we put some little sound clips in there, and some poems. And
I would just add that we had a couple of conversations in the beginning, and I think we were trying to find out some things we could have in common. And I think all of our collaboration was between this tension of what we have in common and what is different about us. And that created a lot of interesting paths. And since the beginning, we understood that we wanted to have this symmetry, this idea of two parallel stories and two parallel voices going together and trying to converge. But it was not always like that. And the piece tries to reflect that.
Hence, the title of our piece is called Mirrored Hands. Part of our inspiration behind that, the Zoom formatting, was actually Aline's idea, because most of her work, all of our work is over Zoom. And then like a light bulb just popped up in my head. And I was like, yeah. And then from there we went on like, oh, we should have like contrasting images and contrasting scenes, because obviously we are experiencing the same world, but through different lenses, and what we do in our days, just, the little normalities that happen as people, and what we experience. And I think there was a deep understanding that as humans, we are sort of like intrinsically connected one way or the other. It's like a synthesis. We're moving and sharing and speaking and in ways that we don't even understand, but it makes sense.
So we were trying to incorporate all of the challenges that we had and still find creativity, some streams of light in the middle of all of this, deadlines and listening to clips and reading some texts and trying to create something together and wanting a lot that it would work and it would be beautiful, But then all of the doubts, all of those insecurities, of course, came to the surface. And at a certain point, it was good to acknowledge that it was sometimes being hard. And then when you acknowledge that, it's like a door that opens a lot. And we started from there to a totally different stage of our collaboration, which was full of pleasure also for me, because it was beautiful to see that translated into music and into a video.
Well, it is indeed so beautiful. And it's amazing to know how your collaboration evolved and how that growth was expressed artistically through this piece. Thank you, Naomi and Aline. Up next, we'll experience the work Wake Me When It's Green by Gwen Laster and Daphna Naftali. Gwen is a composer, arranger, and orchestrator based in Beacon, New York. Daphna is a singer, electronic musician, sound artist, composer, performer, improviser, and computer programmer based in New York City. Without any further ado, here is Wake Me When It's Green.
like to play by the rule. Fancy dining, drinks and fine wine, and taking me on weekends to see my teachers from my school. Thread and weaving and screaming music to and through me from the trailblazing few. Didn't know you were the Miles, the Billy, the Parker, and Stravinsky, and a big pot of bitches brew. What was your scene? What did all this mean? Wake me when it's green.
Sun and moon they shine, fill an empty sky, melting ice and time. I'll rest where I'm going. Wake me when it's green. Oh, it's just us now on our
You boasted, toasted, and hosted while you were running your marathons to win the race, learning the law to make the next case. Bittersweet start grew you a bigger heart after you muddled in the puddle of the never-ending blue lotus of your struggle. What was your scene? What did all this mean? Wake me when it's green. What if we could reconvene under a new green, where we reimagine, reconfigure, reinvigorate, and reincarnate into a new world dream? What if I were your daddy and you were my daughter? My arms would open wide like a regeneration of cellular moleculation, breaking down the ancestral borders in the making of our new world order. What was your scene? What did all this mean? Wake me when it's green.
Thank you, Gwen and Daphna. So I understand that you're the only duo from this cohort who got to meet in person. Can you tell us about that and how your work was born?
Well, we had been talking before we actually met in person. We knew a lot of the same people in the same community, artist circles. And then we realized in just talking and getting familiar with each other that both of us had lost our fathers during the same year. So we thought that that would be a good planting or a way to start planting seeds on our creative work.
Yeah, I think before we met, we started a document and just put in like whatever is on our mind that we thought might be, I'm just remembering now. So by the time we met, we just went through the list and played music for each other. And when we met at your friend's house in Brooklyn, I mean, we're fortunate that we were able to meet and actually work on this together. But even so, it was difficult for us to get our schedules to line up. So, but we did have a couple of in-person meetings. Gwen is great at making decisions quickly, which I am not great at. I spent like, I hate to say this, I spent like 100 hours on my part because I was so focused on this, not this. And I tend to overdo it. And Gwen is a good model for me on when you're busy, just making really good decisions.
Yeah, and I think Daphna is good with all the technical, which I felt like I will still continue to learn more of, especially if we do a segment of this piece live. So I'm encouraged and eager to learn more of the technical aspect of how we record it. And I felt really safe in our collaborative process because the easiest aspect of it was once Daphna sent me recordings of her ideas. They were really rough, they were really organic, they were really spontaneous. So I said to myself, oh God, it's on. So I can just send, really be spontaneous about that and not feel like anything needs to be refined on any kind of level. So that was the easiest aspect. And I always trust that spontaneity because I think that that's what's gonna always come up with the most honest approach to whatever we're doing. So this is, that was part of the easiest aspect for me. It's just feeling safe and knowing that even though I'm sending this thing that, okay, it's not my final idea, maybe it's not as in tune as I wanted, maybe I didn't articulate it exactly like I wanted to, but it's okay because I'll just send it.
Yes, that's beautiful how you inspired each other in your creative process and could find comfort in each other during a difficult time in both of your lives. Congratulations, Gwen and Daphna, on creating such a dynamic and personal work. Next up, we'll watch the duo work by Cici Sunchild and Nimade Ayudwi Satvitri, called Suryaning Giri Danu. Cici Sunchild is a pianist, vocalist, and composer from Atlanta, Georgia, and Satvitri is a Balinese gamelan musician and composer, currently pursuing her master's degree at ISI Solo, the Art Institute of Indonesia, in Surakarta. So let's enjoy Suryaning Giri Danu.
I'll be alright as long as I can see the sunrise. I can new day begins. It's a brand new start. We can do it all over again. Jump in and let's play. This is a new day.
Wow. Brava, Sisi Sunchild and Sadvitri. Can you share with us some of the early seeds that you planted that grew into this epic work?
We both had a very strong connection and love for nature and how it moves and how it flows. And then Savitri actually said, you know, I know what we could do. We could talk about, we could do a piece about lakes and mountains. And I said, oh, can we add sunrise to it? And she said that would be perfect. So really, that's how the idea of how we would approach thinking about the piece started. So that's how we came up with Suryani Danu Giri, sunrise, mountains, lakes, or sunrise, lakes, mountains.
A source of water, a source of life for living things. The sun as a source of light is a source of energy. Mountain can be interpreted as soul or soul, while the triangular shape is if we draw it on paper, means that human consists of elements of creation, taste, and intention, whose purpose is only one to God. Those are the source of our duo.
I think for me, the level of trust that we had to have with each other and for each other, because of our language differences, and then two, you know, we were each dealing with whatever our own challenges may have been. I was dealing with health stuff. She was doing school stuff. And we really had to trust each other's strengths.
Colette helped me a lot in this collaboration. She always gives good advice, encouragement, and patience. She helped me a lot in communication. I'm very lucky to collaborate with Colette.
It was like putting pieces, just a bunch of pieces together until they made sense and it sounded like we were communicating together as opposed to in fragmented pieces. So yeah, and the thing I think that made it the trust a really big thing was because she didn't know what I was doing over here. You know what I mean? I was so slow, like I had to do everything in a real different kind of process, and I couldn't let her know along the way. So it was just kind of like, okay, here it is. And she was just like, yes, this is, you know what I mean? So I don't know if anybody else we could have worked that way. So she just literally just kind of just waited and trusted. And I've never experienced that from someone who didn't really know me. You know what I mean? That was really amazing.
So beautiful. Well, thank you, Cece Sunchild and Satvitri, for sharing how your piece blossomed into such a vast and powerful work from two different sides of the world. Next, we will enjoy the duo work Miniatures by Kavita Shah and Zeynep Toraman. Kavita is an award-winning vocalist, composer, educator, and lifelong New Yorker. Zeynep is a composer and scholar from Istanbul, Turkey, working and living in Berlin, Germany. Let's watch Miniatures.
The night will gut what you give her. Once Bombay, but now Mumbai. They say how you live is how you die. A lightning bug, a firefly glows after the monsoon. The crows perched above Malabar hills sing of further sadness still. Time suspends in a haze until the tick-tock on a tennis court. Life moves back and forth. Linoleum, Rathan, Rangoli, Pan, Mirchi, Agarbati, Juhu, Matunga, Chopati, Kali, Krishna, Ganpati, Ganpati Bappa Moria. The journey is so nice and this climate is so pretty. I have a fear that I may get lost somewhere. Hum, hinna, hum, hinna, hum.
A late afternoon on a late summer day. Havada kushla chilgen Vaparta gün karariken Havada kushla chilgen Vaparta gün karariken
Thank you so much, Kavita and Zeynep. So I'd love to know your first conversations and what they were like in building this piece together and how the piece evolved.
Okay, so when we first started talking about this piece that we're going to create with Kavita, we realized that we have a lot of things in common, especially cities that we've both spent some time in, namely New York and Cambridge, and also our background also in relation to other cities that are by bodies of water, and this idea of the sea kind of bringing us together, bringing all these places that we lived and spent time with together. So that was our starting point.
I think we both realized that the sea and water is very present in our music, and we actually heard that in each other's work when we were first discovering each other's work. This is something we can try to create together or create some soundscapes together with the common element of the sea. The piece itself, we've called it miniatures. So we were talking about in, Indian or Islamic art, there are these miniature paintings that, were very popular in 16th, 17th century. And we talked about what it would be like to create miniature pieces for those different places. So that gave a structure to the piece where we had about, 2 minutes or so for each city, 1 or 2 minutes. and with the element of the water being kind of what holds them in common, but how could we sort of create a musical miniature? So that gave us some sort of structure for the piece.
I felt so lucky to have been paired with Kavita, whose musical language I absolutely could relate to from the very beginning. I was really drawn to her beautiful sound worlds and all these different aspects of herself that she explores through the music, and also her interests in the texts and this kind of intertextual connections that she's also passionate about. So that really made it much easier for me to connect with her musically from the very beginning.
I wrote a poem about Bombay, which is the city that my grandparents are from and my parents grew up in, and I spent a lot of time as a child. And it's also a place that I had never really written anything about or engaged with directly, and I wrote a poem about it. I think our collaboration has been a lot about creating space for parts of ourselves that may not have been present in other aspects of our work. You know, part of our identity that we have in common is moving around from one place to another. But there's also a kind of like not touching the very basic thing of where you come from, which is meaningful also and can be kind of scarier. And I think we created that safe space to go there, which was very rich for me.
Wow. Thank you, Kavita and Zeynep, for sharing how you both learned from each other and were able to try new things and explore new parts of your practices in creating this work. To close, we present to you the work of Chrissy Bergmark and Tara Caningara, called Apex Rocket Ship Seasons, What Is It Time For? Chrissy is a tabla player, percussionist, composer, and educator based in Chicago, Illinois. Tara is a second-generation Sri Lankan Canadian composer, trumpet player, and vocalist based in Toronto, Canada. Let's experience Apex Rocket Ship Seasons, What Is It Time For?
The music I'd never heard before.
Okay.
And it kind of sounded weird.
Weird, okay.
And I'm wondering, is there any players in that music from the string family?
From the string family? Well, there's piano, or it's keyboard, I think.
I wanna go back to the beginning when I was a scene stealer, a major leaguer, a promise. Laying on the lawn, sucking on popsicle sticks, dried up sugar on my fingertips. I can see it now. I am the apex of the pyramid of bodies. I am standing on the shoulders of my neighbors. I'm the new celebrity, yelling at my brothers, screaming, how could I ever be scared up here? How could I ever be afraid right now? I wanna skip to the time when I'm the queen of the cul-de-sac, waiting for the kids to call me back a legend. My skin is getting thin and translucent, like the diamond on my wedding ring. I wanna feel it now. I'm at the apex of the pyramid of bodies. I am holding court, the head of my own table. I'm an anthology, confessing to my daughters saying it's okay to be scared sometimes. It's okay to be scared sometimes. It's okay to be afraid sometimes.
I know who I like.
Who?
You want me to say?
Who?
I know two
The
people that you like.
Sarah, can you get?
Oh my God.
They are our jazz favorites.
So there you have it, folks. My parents are my number one fans.
Told you.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, that's it.
She's a rocket ship I know how to use. I know I just don't remember coils and liquid like a maker, tissue touching my own hands, a maker, red rub friction passing time, a maker. You were born in the springtime. I wish that I could ask you now what it's like to live through the seasons and grow older. The neighbors has lost all his hair, but I still feel young in my bones. Though grays streak my bangs, and my body is louder now. The morning that you died was filled with sunshine. I remember the bright rays in my eyes. How elegant you were to pass away. With the fall breeze.
Hi, Chrissy. I didn't know if I'd could get you in, but I thought I'd try. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Happy birthday, honey. Enjoy the day. I love you, tons. Bye, Chrissy.
Should I call my mother? She knows how to keep her plants alive. I wanna grow a garden just like hers. No more basil on the sill anymore. I want it to come from the earth. Should I call my doctor? I wanna pass down all my secrets to a fresher body, fresher mind. Teach them to be good and be kind. Is it the right time? But what is it time for? What is it time for? Do I pull out the good china or do cartwheels on the floor? Don't trust my intuition anymore. Do I tell my lover I had fun in August, but it's coming on November, and I'm not sure about Thanksgiving dinner. You and I weren't built for table manners. Now I gotta get serious. Together we feel plenty, but my living room is empty. Can't keep hosting parties on the parquet floor. Isn't that what growing up is for? So what is it time for? What is it time for? Do I empty out my basement or build castles on the shore? Don't trust my intuition anymore. Life is a dream. A dream with limitations. Can't choose my own adventures and play through possible endings. But if I choose wrong, I'll keep holding strong until I see some buds in March.
Wow, thank you for this gorgeous and very personal work. Can you tell us about the origins of these different chapters within the piece?
So the origins of our piece, I feel like when Tara and I first met online and started talking, there were just a lot of like really amazing parallels between us, and feels like we're both in very similar life moments, but maybe in slightly different ways. And I think sort of like we tapped into this sense of like in-betweenness, like having some perspective and being able to see to look back on our younger selves with compassion and kind of like a little more wisdom, but then also still being at this point of like, what is happening next, or like where are we going, where are we headed, what is like the right way to proceed.
I don't know, maybe there was something in the universe that suggested that we work together on this particular piece, because yeah, there's a lot changing. I can't speak for you, but I do know like of the things that of the commonalities that we have, there is this real sense of like every decision now in our lives feels incredibly important. And we both care so much about our work that we want to give it its best chance. And so like in those conversations that we had, and a lot of our work was, and I'm sure like many other M3 participants, a lot of our work was just talking to each other and talking about our feelings and what we cared about. And then it just transformed into art. In those moments, it felt like very, very precious and special. And then when we're away from each other, I think there's like this sense of like we have these other projects to juggle. I think, yeah. So the positives is that we're both, I think we're sharing a lot in our lives in terms of like career, just like a lot to juggle.
Yeah, I think there was like a really nice like balance to it, you know, like there were times where we were reaching out to each other in different moments and in our different capacities. And I think that was very, I don't know, it felt very connective to me. Like, yeah, you know, we're doing this thing and we're on these separate paths and we're literally creating a piece about that. The way that the piece developed kind of like mirrored what our connection has been like.
Christy kind of internalizes the worlds I've just been infinitely impressed by. And so sometimes after like our meetings, I'm like, wow, there are like so many things that Christy said that are so profound just in listening to her speak. It just forced me to kind of reevaluate the way I look at certain things and how I approach the world. So I think that's how I felt mentored by Christy.
Well, thank you so much, Tara and Chrissy, for giving us a deeper look into your interactions and your friendship that came out of creating this piece together. Let's give all of these stunning works of art by M3's 5th cohort a big round of applause. Clap it up one more time. That was amazing. Oh my gosh. Would the 5th cohort artists who are here with us, could you stand up and take a bow? Come forward. Can you come up? Yes, please. Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. That was all so very moving. Excuse me. Okay, and now I want to welcome you to take out your phones if you would. and go to tinyurl.com/M3auction. There's the link there. And also, Matis and Dante will be walking through the aisle with QR codes for you to scan as an alternative. And keep in mind, you can also just donate and give a gift, but we are about to start our online auction. So this is going to be really fun. Yes, exactly. So we got about 5 minutes. And so, you can put your last bids in for some really, really incredible offerings from our M3 artists and collaborators. And I want you to follow along and put those bids in if you can. How can you resist? I couldn't. So I already won something earlier today. So there's some really great offerings here. So I'm going to pull it up on my phone as well. And I'll just quickly go through a few because actually quite a few have sold out, but there are still some really, really beautiful things that you can bid on. Jessica Jones is giving an on-live improv lesson for children. Ruth Naomi Floyd of our 4th cohort is offering a vocal jazz lesson on Zoom. Yes. Deborah Steinglass, she does life and leadership coaching. She's also coached Jen and Sara. Daphna Naftali, whose piece you just heard, is giving a listening and sound walking tour. Andrea Ambro, our sound engineer, is offering to engineer your next performance if you so choose. Devin Gates is offering a rest sound bath as inspired by the NAP Ministry. If you're not hip to the NAP Ministry, they are an amazing organization. So there's that. Caroline Davis is offering an original visual art collage. And Kavita Shah, who's a native New Yorker, is giving a walking tour of downtown New York. Even if you're a New Yorker, you've probably never had an experience like this. And who else? Let's see here. So many great things. Ganavia is giving voice lessons. So there's a lot of really, really cool stuff to bid on. The auction is closing tomorrow. So if you could go ahead and maybe get your bids in now, that would be really awesome. And okay. And as I said, I bid as well. And so there are some things that are sold out, but there's lots left. And again, if for some strange reason, nothing is floating your boat, you can always just give a financial gift to M3. I mean, this incredible work that they're doing. I mean, as you just witnessed for the last hour, I mean, that's, these things don't happen on their own. So we have to do our best to help as much as we can. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I see everybody's got their phones out and looking down and not looking at me. So that is a very good sign. That is a very good sign. So awesome. Thank you. Thank you all. All right. So now I am thrilled to introduce our 2023 M3 Lifetime Achievement Awardee, Michelle Rosewoman. She is a pianist, composer, bandleader, educator who expands the horizons of jazz while remaining firmly and deeply rooted in the tradition. A fearless band leader and mentor, many have cited Rosewoman as an indelible influence on their music and their artistic development. She's presented her various ensembles at festivals and concerts, clubs and universities throughout the world. With numerous recordings as a leader, her long-standing Quintessence ensemble has consistently brought together the most inventive voices in jazz, and her new Yoruba ensemble, which debuted at New York City's Public Theater in 1983. Okay? She's not new to this, she's true to this. presents an uncompromised synthesis of contemporary jazz and traditional Cuban folkloric music, uniting master musicians from both worlds. She performed with many renowned New York-based jazz and Latin jazz artists, and her innovative projects have received great critical acclaim, including a 2016 Latin Jazz Grammy, and topping NPR's Best of Recording list at number 3 and number 1, respectively. Numerous prestigious awards from the NEA, ASCAP, Chamber Music Orchestra, Chamber Music America, and South Arts. Larry Blumenfeld wrote in Jazz's, quote, "Rosewoman's piano playing draws equally from the bluesy drama of Randy Weston and the ardent yet grounded freedom of Cecil Taylor. Her music unites players with distinct personalities into a communal voice, much in the mold of Mingus or Ellington, even as she adheres to Afro-Cuban traditions. It sounds bold, swinging, ceremonial, and formal, all at once in many cases. The music has both stylistic swagger and spiritual heft." Let's watch more about Michelle's incredible journey right now.
I'm Michelle Rosewoman. I'm a pianist, composer, and educator, and I was born in Oakland, California. Oakland is a place I'm proud to be from, and it shaped me in many ways. Such great traditions come from there, musically, politically, spiritually. I've been in New York area since 1978, actually right here, exactly right here since 1978. Well, I came up in a real musical home. My folks started a small record shop when I was small. I came up around music, my father being from New York, and he loved jazz. A lot of music from the mountains of Peru and Chile and Indonesian gamelan music and Indian music. It had a ritualistic aspect that drew me in just as much as jazz did. My mentor later, at age 17, 18, when I met the great pianist Ed Kelly, the greatest lesson I got from him was music is sound. I started writing, composing. I was doing nothing else but listening, playing, and hanging. At a certain point, I started to literally hear some of those, the cantos, traditional spiritual forms in contemporary jazz settings. I had a dream, and I heard the horns and the bass part. And I got up and wrote some of that, and that was the beginning of me doing that, kind of from then on. I was a real gypsy for a while. I rode freight trains and hitchhiked and everything, because back in the day on the West Coast, not that it made sense, but it wasn't totally crazy. I met great musicians at the Keystone that encouraged me to come here. So I had a group called the Lunar Ensemble. So the Lunar Ensemble hit at the Keystone on the double bill with my mentor, Ed Kelly. It all led to my coming here with an open mind. This music is a path that when you're on it and you believe you're being guided and doing what you're meant to do, just amazing things happen. There's something special about this musical journey, and you're doing what you love. And for me, I always felt never torn or confused or like I had to make an intellectual decision about what I wanted to do. It just all made itself kind of clear to me, and it still does. my first days, months, and years in New York, I would look out my window and say, what the heck did I do? Here I am. This is so different, and it's so right. So at Soundscape in 1980, I met the great Orlando Puntia Rios, who became key and foundational in every way to what I went on to do and who I am today. In 83, we played the Public Theater. In 84, we toured Europe. Coming from a kind of activist environment, I always felt that jazz was a literal expression, a music that is rooted in Afro-American culture and realities. And I think that jazz reflects all of that, and that no one should dive into this music without acknowledging and dealing with the fact that it comes from where it comes from. I found jazz to be a statement of all of these things that were part of my thinking, to break chains, to break limitations, to break unfair, unjust realities, to open doors. If you're doing that creatively, then you're probably thinking about life a little different. These things, to me, they resonate, they bounce off each other. And jazz is kind of the perfect microcosm of, in order to play this music, what you have to do, how you have to think, will teach you kind of the deepest principles of living life. Thanks to M3. When I came into this, in the second cohort, I believe, and it paired me up with Malika Sara. I think that something really beautiful and special came of that project, something I'm really proud of. But with Malika, we had the most interesting process, and in that video, I had the opportunity to utilize my mother's art. So the backdrop is her art and her impact on me as an artist. My community means the world to me, and I feel a great sense of support. M3 is all about support. You guys have done so much already to help create a new reality, and I would just say for young women to keep their focus. That's what I did. I really didn't let things sidetrack me. I think you have to have a clarity to see what's in front of you. In general in life, get your vision together, believe in it, and go for it. You will find support everywhere you go, not only amongst other women or underrepresented genders, but everywhere you go. If you have a clarity, if you have a voice, people are going to see it and they're going to hear it. And you're going to meet great musicians that would like to be a part of it. So go ahead on. I'm trying to keep it going myself and just keep doing what's worked and what I haven't discovered yet that I'm heading towards. And I'm very grateful for this acknowledgement and this award. Thank you, M3, and onward.
Look at me.
Get your vision together. Come on now. Yes. Oh my gosh. That was so moving. So this year's M3 Lifetime Achievement Award comes in two forms. First, as a $5,000 unrestricted award to honor Michelle's past, present, and future work. Yes. And secondly, to represent the giving spirit within M3, Ruth Naomi Floyd from our fourth cohort. Yes. Ruth is giving Michelle this beautiful photography artwork. Yes. Yes. Finally, it is my great, great honor to present the 2023 M3 Lifetime Achievement Award to Michelle Rosewoman. Everybody get up on your feet.
I'm not sure what I would say except thank you. This is different. And I would just say that, I don't know, I've always felt really compelled to do what I do. And it's almost like I can't take credit for anything. That's how I feel. Because it's like I couldn't help it. I can't help it. And I think that's a good place to be because it just carries itself, you know. So I've tried to jump into the tide and go with it. And I'm still doing that the best that I can. And I'm, you know, M3 is something else, right, guys? You know, truly, I hope that it's appreciated on many levels by a wide range of people. I think that you've built such a foundation, and there's no stopping it. So I thank you so much for the honor. I want to say it was great to see everybody's works. And also that I really am super proud of what me and Malika did together, and that exists forever. So, you know, onward, everybody, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and congratulations once again. Yes, indeed. And finally, it is my pleasure to introduce M3's co-founders, Shyu and Serpa.
Okay. So much to say. I've already cried like 6 times at everyone's film. So just thank you for being here. And I just hope that when you think of M3, you will also speak about it to your students, to your colleagues, to your friends, to your children. Yeah, we don't want it to be a secret. We want it to be out there in the world. So we built this out of a lack, and I just can't thank Sara, my other half, who has been the best, dearest friend and human being, and also work partner and wellness partner. She reminds me to take care of myself. There's so much I want to say, but I will just go ahead and thank. We wouldn't be here without our co-commissioners, funders, and partners, the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, Media The Foundation, the Kenneth Rainin Foundation, Center for Remembering and Sharing, and New Music USA, made possible by annual program support and or endowment gifts from Helen F. Whitaker Fund, the Aaron Copland Fund for Music Incorporated, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, some of who are here tonight, and the Francis Golay Charitable Lead Trust, Fidelity Foundation, the Rogers and Hammerstein Foundation, and Anonymous, my favorite. Yay! That Anonymous, very, very important person and people. And we especially want to thank our amazing host, the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. Woo! Amazing space and energy here. And so we want to thank Tracy Hyder-Suffern and Ryan Maloney, who is there behind the scenes. The whole tech team. They hosted our first 3 online festivals throughout the pandemic, and were so supportive and were with us from the beginning, so with open arms, so we cannot thank you enough. Thank you, Ryan, and National.
Done. Okay. I also want to say, like, this has been a journey. You know, I never really thought that we were creating something like this. It was created in the height of the pandemic. And it just started with ideas. And the great thing about working with Jen is just she says yes to all my ideas, you know. So I'm like, what if I do this? What if we do this? And like, yes. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And it has been this kind of roller coaster of ideas. And sometimes it's a lot. You know, we have very ambitious goals, but it has been a wonderful ride. And also, whenever I see the works and the anthology, it just fills me with pride, a lot of pride. And also, you know, I wish I had this when I was a young musician. I mean, I'm still young. When I was like in my teens. Yeah, so I'll say a lot of names also because this work would not be possible without the support from the community. And it has many levels, like from small donations to big donations. But the most important thing is to have you all here with us and continue to be here with us along the many hopeful seasons that we have. So we want to give special thanks to Nancy and Joe Walker, Maureen Knighton, Brandy Stewart, Liliane Ozay Boateng, Moi Eng, Vanessa Reed, Emil Kang, Hannah Ford, Isabel Quinzanos Alonso, Christopher Pelham, and Yasuko Kazaki, Arlene and Larry Dunn, Dan Shee of She Stokes, Emily Bookwalter, Deborah Steinglass, who's here, Irene Salter, and Lydia Liebman. And we want also to thank our incredible team. First of all, we have Dante Reed over there. Who's been amazing, helping us with all our admin work. Andrea Ambro, who's also there, our audio engineer. She helps all our musicians making this all sound great. We also have Mariana Meraz, who has been responsible for all the videos and photographs and everything that happens in terms of visual. This Mariana Meraz, yay! And very special thanks to our development editors for our first 5 anthologies. Jordan Elizabeth, Naomi Extra, which I think she's here. Okay, and Kyla Marshall, who's also there. Yeah. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
All right. Woohoo! Okay, so speaking of that anthology, I'm just going to hold up a copy. We have volumes 1 and 2 here in print up at the front. So when you get a chance, please get one for your friends or anybody you think would enjoy the wonderful work that is inside. Now, we're really thrilled to announce the next cohort. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Okay, so congratulations to the M3 Fall Equinox 2023 Cohort 6 composer performers. They are, drum roll please, Sibongile Buddha from South Africa, Andrea DeMarcus from Georgia, Melanie Dyer from right here in Harlem World, New York City, Natalie Greffel from Germany. Oh, she's here! Oh, yeah! Maya, aka Sonia Hubert Harper from California. Naomi McCarroll Butler from Canada. Shoko Nagai from New York City by way of Japan. Francesca Maibo from Italy. Martha Redbone from New York City. Nachi Rodriguez from Brazil. Marta Sanchez from New York City by way of Spain. And Sharon Udo, aka Counterfeit Madison from Chicago. All right. It's gonna be lit. So before we let you go, once again, just please consider donating to M3 via our online auction or by becoming a co-commissioner. of the next cohort's works, and you'll see the QR code on the merch table along with the anthology, so please don't be shy. And for our final farewell, would all of our current and previous M3 musicians here come forward to take a photo with Jen and Sara? Yes. Yes? Awesome. We got some music. I'm just gonna sing. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.